Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be discussing a poem called Abhisara The Tryst, written by Rabindranath Tagore. And it's a poem. Originally, it was written in Bengali by Rabindranath Tagore in 1899. It was published in a collection called Kotha. And later, Tagore himself translated this along with some of his other poems for a collection called Food Gathering in 1916. The story of this poem is based on Upagupta, a Buddhist monk who lived in the 3rd century BCE and was admired by the Emperor Ashoka. And this is a story poem, and the story of this poem is actually adapted by Tagore from a 10th to 11th century Kashmiri poet Khemendra's work called Bodhisattvadan Kalpalata. And in this poem, we'll be seeing two characters. First is an ascetic or a sannyasi called Upagupta, and another one is this dancer or a courtesan. We'll see how their interaction happens, how they meet, and all. So let's begin. So, first of all, the title Abhisar The Tryst both have the same meaning. Abhisar in Bengali and the Tryst in English both have the same meaning. That is a secret meeting between two lovers. And the two lovers or the two characters are actually um, an ascetic, who is a Buddhist monk, an ascetic, a sannyasi, and a court dancer or a courtesan, um, who is the name is Bashabdatta. So very odd pairing. Uh, let's see how they meet and what happens. So the poem begins like this. Upagupta, the disciple of Buddha, lay asleep on the dust by the city wall of Mathura. Lamps were all out, doors were all shut, and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. That means Upagupta, who is a disciple of Buddha, was lying asleep on the road on the dust by the city wall of Mathura. And it was the month of August, that is the rainy season, and that's why the sky was covered by clouds, and all lamps were all out wind, because of the wind, which turned off all the lamps, and the doors were all shut because it's a rainy weather, and stars were all hidden because of the cloud. So that's the environment. It's a rainy season. Upagupta is lying uh, just by the city wall of Mathura. That's the boundary of a city. That's the wall, and beside that wall, the sannyasi is lying on the floor. Next, whose feet were those twinkling with anklets touching his breast of a sudden? He woke up, started, and a light from a woman's lamp fell on his forgiving eyes. Some tinkling sounds of anklets could be heard. That means the ornaments that the dancers of that anklets could be heard, and tinkling sounds. Upagupta felt that a touch on his breast all of a sudden, and that startled him, and he woke up. And the light of that woman's lamp fell on Upagupta's forgiving eyes. So generally, what happens is when someone kicks you, you will get irritated, you will get angry. But this Upagupta, since he is a sannyasi and an ascetic, he isn't angry at all. His eyes are forgiving eyes. So let's continue. It was the dancing girl, starred with jewels, clouded with a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of her youth. So the who has kicked Upagupta is actually the dancing girl, starred with jewels. So since she is a dancing girl, she is of course wearing jewelries, and clouded with a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of her youth. That means this is a metaphor that drunk with wine of her youth, because when you drink wine, you get drunk. he got drunk, but the dancing girl Bashabdatta, she is drunk with the wine of her youth. That means she is so proud. She is so proud of her beauty, of her youth, of her youthful beauty. She is so proud. That's why she is actually um, kind of drunk, and she can't really see what's the important things of life. She is so focused on herself. It's a metaphor which is comparing these two situations with these two situations when someone can get drunk by drinking actual wine, and when someone can have the same someone can be in the same situation by being self-obsessed of uh, of their own physical beauty. She lowered her lamp and saw the young face, austerely beautiful. "Forgive me, young ascetic," said the woman. "Graciously come to my house. The dusty earth is not a fit bed for you." So Bashavdatta now lowered her lamp to see whom she has kicked. Now she lowered her lamp and she uh, sees that this is Sannyasi who is lying on the floor and who is also austerely beautiful. But one can see the contrast here between these two characters, Upagupta and the dancing girl Bashavdatta, because both are beautiful, but Bashavdatta on one hand is beautiful by applying external things like makeup and jewelries and etc. But on the other hand, we have this sannyasi who is also austerely beautiful. That means austerely beautiful. That means in beautiful in a simple manner, not adding some excessive things to look beautiful. So on one side we have this dancing girl Bashabdatta, who is so much obsessed with her physical beauty, materialistic things. But on the other hand, we have this sannyasi who doesn't care at all. Bashabdatta is saying, "Forgive me, young ascetic," that the sannyasi, "Forgive me and graciously come to my house." So she is inviting him to her house. Now, maybe because he is handsome and beautiful, that's why it can be, and also it can be that she is actually and but of course she is actually good, she is actually good hearted, otherwise she won't invite him if she doesn't have any kindness, softness in her heart. But this shows that she is, despite she being a materialistic woman, or who gives so much priority to her beauty and all, she is actually she has a kind heart. She has a kind heart. So after kicking sannyasi, which was lying on the floor, she actually is inviting him to her house, and she's saying that this dusty earth is not a fit bed for you. The ascetic answered, "Woman, go on your way. When the time is right, I will come to you." That means this is not the right time for me to come to your house. That woman, you go on your way. When the time is right, time is right means what? The right time. Time is right means the right time. So when the right time comes, I will come to you. So this actually sets the twist on. Suddenly the black night showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. The storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear. So here you can see foreshadowing that despite the girl Vashabdatta is so happy with all her materialistic attachments, her beauty and all, jewelries and all, but she is also fearful. She gets afraid. So this shows that nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. Every beauty will get destroyed with the course of time. Here you can see the personification here. The Black Knight showed its teeth. Now, Black Knight is showing teeth. That's personification. The Black Knight is being personified here. So this scene actually foreshadowing the future, which might not be so good for the girl because she is getting afraid. A year had not yet passed. It was evening of a day in April in the spring. The branches of the wayside trees were full of blossom. Now a year had not passed. That means a year wasn't completed yet. At the beginning of the poem, we saw that the time was of August, that's the month of rain, and now it's the month of spring season, and it's April. The branches of the wayside trees were full of blossom. That is, all the trees in spring we can see, we see that are full of blossoms. So that's what is written here. The beauty of spring is narrated here. Next, we see gay notes of a flute came floating in the warm spring air from afar. The citizens had gone to the woods for a festival of flowers. So gay notes of a flute. So someone was playing flute. The sound of that can be heard, which was coming from a distance. From afar means from a distance, and the citizens of the city of Mathura had gone to the woods. So they have this festival of which takes place during the season of spring, festival of flowers. So the citizens had gone there. So in the earlier scene, we saw that the foreshadowing that the lightning, which shows the darker side of the future. But here we can see that some beautiful things of nature, that is the blossoms of trees, uh, which are to symbolize that uh, that maybe things won't be right, but there's always a hope. There's always a hope. There's always a light. So nature always has both the sides, the darker side and the side of the light. So gay notes of flute coming from a distance, that is from afar actually means quite a distance. So that means even if the things get darker, things get wrong, there will be a presence of hope. There will be something that will make things right. So this symbolizes that even if the future is dark, there will always be a light. This sound of the flute is symbolizing that. From the mid-sky gazed the full moon of the shadows of the silent town. The young ascetic was walking in the lonely street. It was the night of full moon. That's the full moon was on top, and that night the town was silent because it's night time, so probably the citizens were sleeping, and the ascetic was walking in the lonely street. So it was again another night. At the beginning, we saw a night which was dark, no light at all, cloudy, no stars, no moon, nothing, completely dark. And now we see another night which is full of moonlight, and so there's you can see a contrast between the two nights, how time can change. While overheard the love-sick quails uttered from the mango branches their sleepless plaint, Upagufta passed through the city gates and stood at the base of the rampart. It was the season of spring, and the quails were uttering from the mango trees, and Upagupta was passing through the city gates, and then after passing in the city gates, and Upagupta stood at the base of the rampart That means that is the rampart is basically the wall which surrounds the city. So in the beginning, you also saw that Upagupta was lying beside that wall, and here again we can see that Upagupta is again standing in front of that city wall. So that means for this sannyasi, the ascetic, nothing has changed. He is just as same as he was before. What woman lay at his feet in the shadow of the mango grove, struck with the black pestilence, her body spotted with sores of smallpox? Now, Upagupta was walking alone on the streets at night during the season of spring, and he suddenly saw that this woman was lying on the ground under the mango tree, and he saw that this woman's body was covered with the pustules or the swellings of smallpox, and at that time there was no vaccine for smallpox, so the people she had been hurriedly driven away from the town to avoid her poisonous contagion. So the people had driven away or threw her away from the town, out of the town, to avoid the poisonous contagion. Now, the smallpox, we all know, is contagious disease, and it's communicable. So to avoid getting infected by that disease, the people just uh, threw her away out of the town. They could have figured out some other ways. Maybe they could have isolated her or at least tried to give her some food or water, but no, they completely banished her. So this shows the dark side of society that when it comes to their security, they will always sacrifice you for their safety. So but it shows the social condition at of the time. Since there was no vaccine, they get afraid and they just threw her away. There was a time when this Bashodatta probably was the favorite person of all the big men of the society, the big landlords, zamindars, because he was a court dancer. So um she must be a known uh, person to all those big um, persons of the society, but still, um, when she caught this disease, nobody was there to help her. And the beauty of which she was so proud of, the physical beauty of herself, is also vanished. All the beauty will fade away with the course of time. This shows that. The ascetic sat by her side, took her head on his knees, and moistened her lips with water and smeared her body with balm. So this is the tryst happening of which the ascetic had talked about earlier. He promised that when the right time comes, he will meet her. So this is the right time. The right time has come, and he is meeting her. It's a date, but it's between two persons completely different in nature. Um, and now one of those persons is sick with a contagious disease, and despite that, a contagious disease, and also thrown away out of the society, out of the city by the society, and despite all these facts, the other person is actually sat by her side and took her head on his knees and gave her water and applied a balm on all over her body. So when everyone was afraid of getting infected, this sannyasi actually touching her and applying balm to nurse her back to health. Now, who are you, merciful one? Asked the woman. The woman is asking, who are you, merciful one? And the time at last has come to visit you. And I am here, Vasavdatta, replied the young ascetic. So, as he had promised earlier that when the right time comes, I will come to you. Now he is keeping his promise, and he has come. That the time, and he is saying that the time at last has come to visit you, and I am here, Vasavdatta. The young ascetic replied. So that's how their tryst happened. So if we discuss about the poem and the message uh, which the poet wants to give us through this poem, we can clearly see that that message is love, the message of love, and love in the sense uh, not like a physical love between two lovers, no, but the love of two human beings, the compassion between two human beings. We can remember that when this Bashabdatta, the dancing girl, actually, as by mistake kicked the sannyasi, she actually offered him uh, to come to her house. Uh, and now, so that's kindness. Now here the sannyasi, when saw that the girl is suffering, he helps her, gives her water and applies balm on her body so that she can recover. So this shows the compassion which is needed for the survival of humanity, and it's the message of humanity the poet wants to give, uh, that we all need each other to survive. To survive, we also stand by one another, and together we survive. Uh, every worst situation out there. And it's like the message Swami Vivekananda gave that Jive Prem Kore Jejun Sejun Seviche Ishwar. That means, the line means, uh, one who loves living other living beings is actually serving the God. So this message is very apparent here also, uh, that when you love another person or another living being, you are actually serving the God. And talking about the themes, I have already discussed about various themes of this poem while going through the poem. So that's this theme of humanity, love, compassion, and the true nature of the society. Yeah, I mean these are the quite a few themes you can see, and the message of humanity is given through this poem. And the title, The Tryst, is of course significant. You can see how well it fits to the poem, and how well it goes with the poem, because this is the ultimate tryst you can imagine between two-person, when one is actually gives prioritize the physical beauty of life, then on the one another side, on the other hand, we have another person who actually prioritize the spiritual beauty of life. So this is a meeting between these two ideology, physical. The title actually captures this whole idea of this unique meeting of two people. So yeah, I think I have covered everything about this poem. But if anyone has any question or any queries, they can comment down below, and I will surely answer. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening. Thank you very much.